Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrating the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody. My name is Blade Daily, and this is Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, a pro wrestling podcast about pro wrestling. And as always, as I am so excited to say each and every single goddamn week, I am joined by the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Joshi G, the greatest Canadian pro wrestling podcaster in the history of greatest Canadian pro wrestling podcasts. Hi, Joshi. How you doing?
Hi, Blade. I'm doing okay. I'm pulling a Leo Rush, I think. I think I'm just going to retire. I'm tired,
I see. Okay, we're going to do this shit every week now.
I'm retiring from life.
Yes. Well, I think that's a bad idea. I think you should stick around. Give it a shot.
I just want to be like on a, in a tropical island. On a tropical island right now.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I think everybody wants that.
Yeah, like sipping pina colada and watching people swim. Actually, I don't really watch people swim. I don't even know.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, who watches people swim? Like, who's
know.
Like, I just want to go on vacation and watch people swim. You just want to see sexy people in their, in their tiny clothing. It's kind of like pro wrestling.
And yeah, exactly. I'm used to it. It's perfectly normal. I think that
you're not big on the swimming yourself.
I like to swim. I'm not the best swimmer though. No, I would definitely go in the water. I mean,
okay.
I would swim, read my book under a palm tree, sip a pina colada. I don't actually watch people swim. I just said that because I thought it sounded kind of funny. I mean, just enjoy the beautiful weather and the water and stuff. Mm-hmm. Instead, I am a slave to capitalism.
Well, aren't we all? Aren't we all?
I know, yes.
No, you and I have both had a pretty busy period of time with work. Shoot jobs, brother.
Shoot jobs, brother.
Yeah. We've been pretty loaded up, and both of us have been kind of going crazy, and we check in with each other. We talk for a little bit about wrestling, and then we both go, fuck, my job sucks right now. And then we go back to life.
And then we cry.
And then we do cry a little bit. I cry a little bit with you on the phone, and then I hang up, and I cry way harder. I think I'm scaring my neighbors a little bit. But yeah, no, okay. So that's what you're trying to retire from. Retiring from life. You're talking about your job being SE right now.
Well, it's just, really busy. So it's like, I just want the government to pay me for being alive. That's all I want.
Hey. There you go.
No, I'm doing okay. I'm just ready for the holiday break. So we're off for about a week, so I'm really excited about that. And I haven't finished my freaking Christmas shopping. I'm terrible at this stuff, so I really need to finish this weekend.
Yeah, no, I'm stressing about it now.
Man.
Yeah.
I kind of I love the holiday season, but I hate the shopping part.
Right.
I wish we each had our own elf that would go around and buy presents for us.
Personal shopping elves.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Well, we don't. And so, yeah, I will be one of those psychos out there in the retail areas running around this weekend like a fucking weirdo, just trying to find stuff for. I don't even have that many people to buy for. Me
neither. I'm just lazy.
I've just made a lot of excuses for why I can't yet. And
I
could have.
Outside.
Yeah. Oh my God. My knee. Oh, my knee. I'm selling the knee like MJF.
It's like, I'm yawning. My head hurts.
Yeah, exactly. I've been yawning a lot. I can't really go out right now. Well, Joshi, I have good news for you.
What's up? You have a pension plan for me?
Well, it's not that good of news. I got something else, though.
Okay.
Do you know what it's time for? Do you know what it's time for?
Dildos and Dynamite. Yeah,
D-N-D. 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 Yeah! Dynamite and dildos, baby! But so much more because AEW is exciting as fuck right now. They have really been crushing it the last couple weeks, especially. The weekly shows have just been very, very good. Having the continuity between Dynamite and Collision has really made a huge difference. Moxley's on both shows. The C2 is carried over between both shows like last year. And each show feels like it's kind of feeding the other. And it's making Collision feel like it's not optional. Like you need to watch it, to really get the full picture of what's going on right now. I don't know about you. I mean, the C2 is pretty fucking unbelievable right now, wouldn't you say?
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm a happy person. The matches have been stellar, especially the past 2 weeks. Yeah.
There were so many standout matches and some huge upsets that we've covered here and some that we haven't. Kyle Fletcher beating Kazuchika Okada. We did talk about that. Was a great match. This past weekend on Collision, Mark Briscoe pulled out a last-minute Hail Mary fucking win over Kyle Fletcher. To call that an upset, Mark Briscoe was just the ROH World Champion, but it felt like an upset, It really did. And he beats him in the last minute of the match. We're going to talk more about that later. And then perhaps the biggest upset of all was this Wednesday on Dynamite. Darby Allin and Will Ospreay. We're going to talk a lot about that match because I'm just going to preface where we're going with this. It might be the best match I've ever seen on television. It's way up there. If not the best, It's way up there.
Holy crap.
The chemistry between those guys was insane. I'm really liking the increase. We've talked about this a bit. There's more video and video packages. And I've seen some people in certain places criticize that as being too much like WWE.
Huh?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of this on Blue Sky. It's some of the Blue Sky people that I used to follow on Twitter that just show up in my feed sometimes. I don't actually follow them. I would argue it's being done in the name of building hype for the matches you're just about to watch and for big returns. It's not like there's shitloads of reiterating the same shit over and over as if you've never seen an episode of Dynamite or Collision before. And that was really the criticism of WWE before. AEW's not doing that, Calm your tits, IWC. Like, don't look for things to complain about. If there's genuinely something wrong, I get it. But that just seems like fishing for something to criticize,
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, the video packages make sense. Come on, man. It's kind of like whatever AEW does, there are going to be people that criticize it. It's like you want stories, you want things to make sense. You're one of those fans that can't just tune in and follow anything because you don't have recaps and stuff. Like, I'm sorry, but like you can't complain anymore. Like you said you wanted things to be explained to you. Mm-hmm. And I think the video packages do a great job doing that. And I don't think it's overdone. They don't last that long anyways. Mm-hmm. And it's really, and it just goes to show actually that AEW is aware that not everyone that watches Dynamite watches Collision. So they're showing you what happened on Collision. They're showing, hey, okay, we understand you might have missed this, but so here's what happened, and at least you know where Okada stands and where Briscoe stands. So to me, I don't see that as a WWE thing. I think they're just responding to this criticism that AEW is like confusing and you can't follow it or whatever. So they're literally showing you what's going on the entire week, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, well, and I think you've also seen just kind of all the areas they get criticized, and they've been promoting future matches a lot more. they've been promoting future events a lot more so that you know what's going to be on the show when you buy a ticket, which I think was a big problem for them. And, you know, I don't keep track of ticket sales. I don't know how they've been, but like these shows are looking really great as far as attendance on camera. So I'm really excited to see them.
Too.
Yeah. And more excited crowds, and seeing them really make that effort has been super cool for me. And I'm really excited to see these shows at the Hammerstein. I am very excited to see these more intimate venues that they're going to be running. I think the shows look great on TV. They've looked really, really good, and it's been exciting to see. And speaking of which, AEW's got a huge weekend coming up. We're taping this on Friday, so Death Before Dishonor is tonight. And so is Rampage. Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's a lot to keep up with. Are you watching it live, I Bleed?
Yes, so I'm going to be doing the crazy shit where I watch all of Death Before Dishonor, then I edit this episode.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll be up till like 3 a.m. probably. But I'll be live chatting with my buddies on my phone as we watch Death Before Dishonor. Then I'll watch Rampage probably tomorrow. Christmas Collision is at the Hammerstein Ballroom on Saturday. Then they have the Dynamite Miracle on 31st Street on Sunday. I love the name. Cool. It's such a cool thing for them to do. So everybody has Christmas off. They're not going to be, because Christmas is on Wednesday, I believe.
It is, yeah.
So they're not just flushing a Dynamite down the drain and making everybody work and be away from their families too. And then next Saturday, you get World's End. And then after that, just a week later, you get Wrestle Dynasty on the 5th.
Yes.
Well, hi there. This is Blade Daily. And funny thing, for the first time in the history of this show, we have not been clear in speaking about something. AEW Dynamite Miracle on 31st Street will be taped on Sunday at the Hammerstein Ballroom, but will air on Christmas Day at its usual time. So please don't be confused by our unclear communication. We apologize for any perceived slights or miscommunications, unless we meant them. That's all. Man, there is so much to be excited about. Do you not agree?
Of course I agree, man. It's like...
well, agree more strenuously. Like,
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Well, okay. First off, Athena better drop that ROH title tonight.
I think she is.
And then I'll be like super happy. But no, of course, yeah. I'm so stoked for all these shows. A little bit overwhelmed because I'm probably gonna fall behind on something. But yes, of course, I am so excited. There you go. I played.
That's what I wanted to hear. Okay. And you know what else is worth getting excited about, Joshi?
Dildos?
Well, of course. I mean, we're all excited about dildos, but I just assume that's a given at this point. So we'll talk dildos later. But we are actually starting our very own annual awards, and we're going to talk about it in just a sec. All right. So, as I was saying, Joshi, this was news to you earlier today when I told you, hey, we're going to be doing some like year-end awards, right?
Yeah.
But lots of dirt sheets and wrestling mags and podcasts, they do their year-end awards. And you know what? They're all the exact same. Match of the year, rookie of the year, wrestler of the year, commentator of the blah, 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 blah. But that was before the Grappies, baby. Yeah, that's right. Sit down, shut up, mark out. We are starting our own awards that will be fan voted on social media. That's on Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram, theoretically, and YouTube, theoretically. You can also email your picks to us at sitdownshutupmarkout@gmail.com. All categories will be revealed on social media next week after Christmas, and we'll have a special award episode after the new year. But right now, Joshi, we have 3 categories that we are going to announce. Would you like to do the first one?
Yes. So, as you know, I'm a huge fan of dancing, and we've seen a lot of dancing in 2024.
Yes. Yeah.
Prince Nana, Mina, Mercedes, and so many others dancing away. So the first category is Dancer of the Year.
Yes. Which wrestler or wrestling adjacent personality like Prince Nana is the Dancer of the Year? Who's bringing it each and every week that you're dancing along with? We want to know. And we're not going to confine your answers to nominees, but we will give like a few relevant suggestions for each category. The next category, and one I'm very excited about, best hair. Who has the best hair in pro wrestling in 2024? So that disqualifies Kenneth Jerome Omega because he didn't wrestle this year. I'm sorry.
So what? Okay, he was there in like January.
But he wasn't. He's been out since late December last year.
They showed up, whatever. No, he showed up in Winnipeg.
He got his ass beat in Winnipeg, yes.
Okay, but he was there. Why can't Kenny be
guys,
one of the nominees? I think this is very
because Kenny's
unfair.
got the greatest hair. Like, if Kenny's nominated, he just wins. So it's like, you know what I mean? Also,
Okay,
we should be clear that the winner doesn't have to have the best head of hair, because hair does not describe just what's on the head. Like, for instance, Hangman's mustache is certainly up for nominating, okay? And if one is so inclined, if we want to focus on chest hair, if somebody has just an amazing patch of chest hair, they could be a nominee in this category as well. Right, Joshi?
Yes, I agree with that, but no pubic hair, please.
No pubes. And I don't think anybody's really qualified to weigh in on that. So let's not nominate people based on what we imagine their pubes look like.
I mean, listen, if you guys have, follow wrestlers on OnlyFans and you've seen that, kind of stuff, that's cool, but I'd rather...
We don't got to go there.
Not go there, yes.
Yeah, we're not going there. And then lastly, our last category, Joshi, you want to tell us what it is?
Lastly is Lashley. Well, no, I'm not going to...
Hey! Don't pollute the voting pool.
No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so there are a lot of stylish wrestlers.
There are.
In AEW right now. And even some wrestlers, the way they walk is really freaking cool. So the next category is wrestler with the most swag.
That's right. That's right. We saw a little example of that we're going to talk about a little later. Ricochet was rocking one hell of a suit this week, but the Hurt Syndicate are always looking top shelf, right?
Yeah.
But there's lots of people with swag. Mercedes has swag. There's so many people that have swag. Swerve has so much swag. Toni Storm's got swag. Mariah's got swag. Jesus. Lots of swag going around. So those are just the first three categories, and we're going to have at least four more. Who cares about match of the year? You're going to see that in a million other places. Who cares about, what I would like to focus on is things like who has the best headlock, who has the coolest looking kick pads, things like that, that are very critical wrestling things as well. And speaking of Mercedes Moné, my friend Joshi G, our friend Mercedes had maybe the best week of her career this past year this week. Would you agree?
Yeah. 100%. I love this woman so much. Mm-hmm. Well, she wrestled in NJPW, so they had a show on Saturday, Long Beach. Mm-hmm. So it was Mercedes versus Hazuki, and that was actually the main event. Incredible freaking match. I mean, I had seen all the praise for it. I got really excited because when I see a lot of praise for a women's match, I get very happy. Mm-hmm. And I checked it out, and it definitely lived up to the hype. Mm-hmm. Mercedes has been on a roll, man. Like, I don't know. It's like she's found her groove. We had her match with Statlander at Full Gear. That was excellent. Her match with Hazuki was phenomenal. And then on Dynamite, she had her match against Annnnd, which was very good. It was a great match. What do you think?
What I would say is Mercedes versus Hazuki. I watched it live. I resubscribed to New Japan when I saw the card announced, but I didn't get to watch anything live except this match. And then I watched the whole card the next day. But Mercedes versus Hazuki, as I was watching it, I mean, 10 minutes in, I was like, this is an incredible match. And then I don't know how long the match was, maybe 20 minutes?
Oh, it was pretty long. Like,
or maybe it was 30. It might have been 30.
Yeah, about 20 to 25 minutes.
It kept getting better and better and better. It just kept blowing my mind a little more. It kind of reminded me of a Young Bucks match where it's like you think the match is peaked and then they go into some crazy hyperdrive. It was so athletic. Both women looked great, but Mercedes was clearly directing traffic in this one. And she did a phenomenal job. She looked like a ring general. I think Mercedes is really finding her post WWE groove right now as a TV wrestler in America, but not in WWE. And that takes some time when that's the whole system you came up in, right?
Yeah.
And of course, with Mercedes, for some reason, some people just have absolutely no understanding for her. But with almost anybody else, they probably would have. And I thought this match with Hazuki was a classic. Dave Meltzer said it might be the greatest women's match in North American professional wrestling history.
Yeah. Lots of praise.
That's high praise. And I have, anytime I hear somebody say something like that, I'm like, is it really though? And I try to figure out how it's not true. I couldn't think of a better match than this. It really was that good. And then the match with Annnnd this week, this is why you have Mercedes Moné. Now, Mercedes was dressed as a super comfortable pillow in this one. And I loved her costume. I'm not insulting it. It was awesome. But Mercedes versus Annnnd. Annnnd has stepped up so much since Stardom. Her little tour over there. And Mercedes, again, directing traffic, led an incredible match. Again, this is why you have Mercedes. She feels like the Kenny Omega of the women's division right now.
You agree with me?
She's a world beater. She is the cream of the crop, and whoever beats her is going to get a huge rub from beating her. I can't say enough good things about her right now, but she feels like she's in her peak form right now. When you break an ankle, that is a joint you use for absolutely everything you do in wrestling. It takes a long time to feel confident and comfortable again. And Mercedes has had incredible matches all year long. That first match back with Willow was super good. The Statlander match, man, that might be my actual favorite match that she's had this year. My just personal favorite. Hazuki is probably the best technical match she's had this year. And Annnnd was just a lot of fun. It was just a great match. So Mercedes is just tearing it up right now. I'm so excited to see the CEO really, really in her bag right now.
Well, that's the thing about some of the Mercedes discourse. Like I've seen comments, saying that she didn't fit in. She doesn't fit in AEW. They're not using her properly. And it's like she talks too much and, she's not the greatest at talking and all of this stuff. And, the first few months with her were really rocky. And I don't know. I can't say that I agree with that. First off, like you said, she came back from a very serious injury. She could only wrestle at Double or Nothing. She couldn't wrestle prior to that. And of course, you want this woman to be on TV every week, and that's why they had to make her talk more. But she was no way bad at that. And like I remember her contract signing with Willow for the TBS title match. Mm-hmm. It was a great segment. And then like she had a great match with Stephanie. She had a great match with her first match with Shida was very strong. She had a good match with Emmy. I just feel she was criticized very unfairly, because I look at her now and it's like, yeah, it's going to take time for you to feel 100%, to adjust to a completely new environment. So now I feel the fans are kind of appreciating her more. Because, yeah, that argument used to annoy the hell out of me. Like, when people would say, she just doesn't fit in. Yeah, she does, and she's needed. The match quality has been so much better with her.
Oh, 1,000,000%. And what I would say is all this criticism being directed at her means she fits in AEW perfectly.
Exactly.
Because she gets criticized the way every single episode of Dynamite does. Honestly, she's a perfect fit. I mean, she also fits in with the elite, and she fits in with all those guys who take shit from all these people who want to belittle them at every opportunity. And they still uphold greatness in the face of all that. So to me, Mercedes is a perfect fit for AEW, actually. I would say, in fairness to the critics or whatever, when she first started, she definitely still had a little bit of that WWE promo cadence in her voice, where she was like, I don't know, she didn't feel totally comfortable yet. And I've never really thought her promos in WWE even were like necessarily like top shelf. And now she's at a point where I would say she's a good promo. She's a good live in the ring promo, which people were saying she couldn't do, which was bullshit. And she's hitting on all cylinders right now. Her strongest skill is as a wrestler in the ring. Yeah. But man, she knows how to be the CEO. She knows how to bring that vibe. She knows, and she has aura for days. When she comes out, it feels special.
Yeah, and when she actually gets in the ring and starts wrestling, how can you not appreciate her, or at least admit that she's actually a good wrestler? Like, she makes the crowd come alive. Like, you know, you can't help but look. I mean, her matches are just so freaking good. She has this energy. So yeah, like we discussed earlier, she is like the female Kenny Omega in the sense that she can have great matches against pretty much anybody. I always look forward to her match. There's always excitement surrounding her matches. And yeah, she deals with a lot of bullshit criticism like Kenny, actually. But whenever I see someone say, Mercedes is a bad wrestler, or Kenny's a bad wrestler, I just shake my head. You know, I can't take any of that nonsense seriously anyway. Yeah. It's like, now I know that I like wrestlers that are freaking good in the ring. And you know, for me, it's not promo above in-ring work. It's in-ring work and then promo. So I guess it depends on the way you look at it. So
yeah, and it's situational depending on the wrestler too, I think. You know, it's like, you know, like when Britt Baker's allowed to do promos on TV and she's really dialed into her character, like she's a promo first lady. Like that's what I prefer the most about her. Her matches, if they're good, when she's at the top of her promo game, she seems like a massive star, but Britt hasn't been on the show. She hasn't really been doing promos on Dynamite for almost 2 years, really. So it's hard to say that she's at the top of this division because she's nowhere near the division right now. But that's a story for another time, Joshi. We got to keep moving because we got so much.
We do. Okay. Let's
go. Let's merge into the next thing, shall we? All right. So the next thing on the list, Joshi, we got to talk about some C2 standout moments from the past week. We alluded to both of them, but I think we owe them a little more time. The first being the main event of Collision this last weekend, Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher. Outstanding match. I would call it a legit 5-star television match. What would you say?
Yeah, me too. I was so into that match, and I felt the last few minutes were so insane and intense. So you didn't know what was coming.
Well, Fletcher brainbustered Briscoe on the railing.
Oh my God.
I mean, crazy. And then he hit that in the ring on the turnbuckle and Briscoe kicked out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, and Mark Briscoe was just the ROH champion a few months ago, right? And Kyle just beat Will Ospreay, just beat Okada. He's beaten some others. Shelton Benjamin he beat, right?
Yeah, he did.
This honestly felt like an upset. And it's crazy that they have gotten Kyle over to that degree in that amount of time. Just a month, really.
Yeah.
So what an incredible match. The crowd was bananas for this match as it's going along. Justin Roberts announced, 1 minute left in the match. Yes. And you're thinking it's going to go to a draw. And that would be not a bad outcome for Mark Briscoe, but I think it would probably eliminate him from the tournament. And instead, Briscoe pulls out the fucking J Driller with 30 seconds left or something and pins Kyle Fletcher clean. Incredible match. You cannot miss that match. It would have been the highlight of the C2. Except
another match happened. Yes.
This Wednesday, we got Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay. And my God, I was excited for this match. We talked about it weeks ago because they announced it weeks ago. We talked about it. I thought Ospreay would win. I was wrong about everything. Okay. As good as I thought this match could be, it was 10 times better. And these two have insane chemistry. Insane chemistry. They were all over the place. They were flipping all over the place. They were countering each other. I could try to describe these sequences, but it would never do them justice. You cannot miss Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay from this past week's Dynamite Holiday Bash. If you see nothing else in wrestling this past week, you have to see this match. There is a styles clash from the ring apron to the floor from Ospreay to Darby.
Does Darby want to die or what?
And that was preceded by Darby missing a coffin drop on the exact edge of the ring. I've seen him miss the coffin drop and it's always scary, but he usually lands flat. He landed on the edge of the ring, and I know he did it on purpose to make it look even worse. And yet, there is a sequence that's so insane where Ospreay tries to lift Darby. Darby does some backflip out of it. Ospreay immediately hits him with a hidden blade. And then Ospreay goes to pick up Darby for a Stormbreaker, I think. And Darby counters into the Code Red. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's perfect. And somehow, after taking all of that punishment, Darby makes a hero's comeback and flattens Ospreay with 3 different coffin drops from different angles and pins him clean. Unfucking believable. Will Ospreay's catalog of greatness this year. I saw somebody say this. I don't remember where I saw it. It might have been on Blue Sky. It might have been on Threads. It might have been somewhere else. So whoever you are, you're absolutely right. Will Ospreay's top 10 this year is probably better than most in promotions top 10 this year. He's been on a tear. It's insane.
Will Ospreay is I don't think he's human. I mean, the number of matches he's had this year that have been 5 stars or over 5 stars, just freaking insane.
He's kind of broken the scale, really, of what you can even classify as the greatest.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. It's really difficult, just because, he had that really amazing match with Takeshita. He had an amazing match with Kyle Fletcher, with Swerve, with it's I'm gonna lose my voice if I mention all of the classics he's had this year. But it was just such an unbelievable match. Darby Allin's a masochist. That's the only explanation I can think of. He loves pain, clearly. But yeah, I think it might have been the best TV match I've ever seen, or that I've seen in a while. Like, I don't know. You know, it's definitely up there, though.
I was in a chat, and there were multiple times where everybody in the chat is typing in all caps. And it's like, holy fucking shit. You know, it's just like, you can't believe what you're seeing. Like, you can't. And for Ospreay to put Darby over the way he did, where Darby is just dead on the ground a few different times, and Darby comes back and still beats Will Ospreay, that's about as tough as you can put somebody over.
I agree, but they do need to be a little bit careful in the sense that things need to be consistent. So Darby has lost some pretty big matches against, the Death Riders. He lost against Claudio. And it's like, okay, he beat Ospreay. That's fine. But in my mind, I would have preferred that he had not lost those matches against Death Riders, especially because, listen, Ospreay took a huge loss against Fletcher. And I'm all about surprises, especially during tournaments. But I do think right now they need to be a little bit careful with the way they book Darby and Ospreay, because on the one hand, they've kind of hinted that Darby could potentially beat Jon Moxley for the world title, which I'm totally okay with. But if that's the plan, you can't have him lose to, like Claudio and others. And especially because, to me, like, Claudio's good, don't get me wrong. But I do remember when Darby lost clean to him. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And now Darby beat Will, which is great. But again, as I said, like, Will did lose a really big match recently. So they do need to be a little bit careful and just make sure they're consistent. And
I think they have a plan. And I think with Darby, so he is facing Claudio tomorrow, Saturday, at Collision in the C2. So I think he's going to get his win back over Claudio. I think what they're showing is that, one, Darby's the kind of wrestler who can lose to almost anyone because of the risks he takes. Like, he beat Brody King at Wrestle Dream, then he lost to him in his first match in the C2.
I do agree, but if the long-term plan is for him to beat Moxley, I'm just saying proceed with caution. Like, just book him consistently.
You have to, and you're right. I totally agree with you. But, like, I think this match with Ospreay is like Darby just leveled up big time. Yeah. He just beat a guy everybody thinks should be the world champion, you know? So, and it gives Will Ospreay a hill to climb. Like, he's not at the top of his game right now. And he usually is. And even though he's a great wrestler, he's not winning. And so that creates an interesting challenge for him for the rest of this tournament. So we'll see where they end up, but this was a masterpiece. You don't see matches like this ever. And right now in the Gold League, there are 4 dudes with 6 points. And that would be Darby Allin, Claudio, Ricochet, Will Ospreay. Then you have Brody King with 3 and Commander with 0. In the Blue League, you have Kyle Fletcher with 9, still standing over everyone. But Kazuchika Okada has closed the gap. He has 7 points. Mark Briscoe has 6 points. Shelton Benjamin has 6 points. Daniel Garcia has 4 points. And the Beast Mordos is still shut out. I know some people are pretty unhappy about that because we all love Beast Mordos. But honestly, I think he's going to get a win in the Continental Classic. And I think if they do it right, they can make it mean a lot. So
I hope so.
We'll see where that goes, So, Joshi, any other Continental Classic thoughts?
I'm really enjoying it. I want to see Beast Mortos pick up a win. That's basically it. I'm okay with everything else. I just hate to see him lose a lot. But
give us the Beast!
Yeah, exactly.
I think Beast Mortos is going to get a big push in 2025. He's very popular. And they've made like 4 or 5 Beast Mortos shirts in like a couple months since Wrestle Dream, basically. So the guy's doing well. I think he's going to get a push. But speaking of push, hit the music. Because we are pushing off, setting sail, you might say, to the land down under. And talking about this new arrival in AEW, Joshi. She's got everybody talking. Even Shmayan Shmalvarez is talking about her. Her name's Toni Storm. Have you heard of her?
I have no idea who she is. Well, I mean, I know who she is now because she just signed.
Right. She's this cool
I didn't
rocker
know who she was
lady.
Prior to that. Yeah, no idea.
Yeah. I think she might be into Motley Crue. She's got the little Nikki Sixx under the eye thing. And she's gorgeous. She's got a big butt, and she uses it as a weapon.
And an Australian accent.
She's Australian, which is very exotic, right?
Yeah.
Toni Storm is back in AEW. Last week, we talked about the rollout of this, how Brian Alvarez from the Wrestling Observer was pissing his pants about her making her return on Rampage. It turns out the ratings for Rampage went up because she was on the show. The ratings for Collision, I believe, were up, and the ratings for Dynamite this week were up. So funny, Toni's back, ratings are up because they spent a lot of time making her a star, you see. They're doing an amnesia angle with Toni. My question to you, Joshi, is it a ploy? Is she just fucking with Mariah May?
I don't know. That's what I was thinking initially. Because okay, I don't know if I buy the fact that she doesn't, remember being in AEW and all that stuff. I don't know if I completely buy it. Because come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can understand her blocking the whole, timeless Toni Storm era out of her mind because Mariah caused her so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
But she can't remember what happened prior to timeless Toni Storm either. So either she's just pretending that she can't remember anything, and in order to get to Mariah, she has to trick everybody and they need to believe that she has amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
Or she's just crazy, just has a condition like multiple personality disorder. So yeah. I think it's one or the other.
Well, I think either could be true, right? They're either doing like the Bray Wyatt multiple personality thing, or they are doing it's a ploy, because either is conceivable at this point, right? Because she became timeless Toni Storm from being normal Toni Storm and losing the title center over the edge, right? And she has confirmed that timeless is like a spirit that inhabited her. And so I think her character is banking that everybody thinks she's crazy, but she's actually pulling the wool over everybody's eyes right now. And she's about to get everybody. She's about to shock the world. And I think she's going to pull some shit with Mariah May. Probably in January. They have Grand Slam in Australia in February. And I think that Toni and Mariah is happening there. Why wouldn't it? But I think that I lean into the idea that this is a ruse. I think it's a plot. And I'm loving every second of it. Toni's promos are awesome. She's not timeless now, and she's still just as good. She was marking out after Collision, talking about, oh my God, and look, that's Mark Briscoe. And the shot of Mark Briscoe that they get, where he just looks so confused.
It was so funny.
The awkwardness of it all is so good. And then she does an interview with RJ City, who, as you remember, she did the interview when she became timeless. She did the interview with RJ City as well. And he's trying to jog her memory, like you were in AEW kind of. But he's trying to lead her into it by asking her a bunch of questions. And the obvious answer is like, well, I was in AEW. And she's not playing along at all. She doesn't get it. And so it was great. RJ is totally befuddled. Somebody said he's trying desperately not to crack in the interview. And I'm sure that's probably true, because I think those two are insane together. And I think, Chrissy Chemistry said, this is also a nod to the camera that RJ is still working on this story. And so have faith. And I do. I'm absolutely overjoyed to see Toni Storm back in AEW, and cannot wait to see where this goes. I literally trust this woman with anything.
Me too. We just need Luther to come back eventually.
Well, that's going to be the big reveal when she becomes timeless again, is Luther's going to come out. Exactly. And I think he's going to be part of this plot.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. I think that's where it's going. So anyway, timeless Toni Storm is not the only person who is, got a freshened up personality in AEW right now, because Ricochet appeared on Dynamite this week, dressed up. We talked about him showing a different attitude when he kind of cheated to beat Brody King last week, right? And that weird, like, thing that he's doing. Oh, you and me saw it right away. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to toot our own horn too much here, people, but like, we go back and listen to the episode. We caught it all. He's doing a lot of subtle stuff that I've never seen him show the ability to do before. So to me, it's exciting to watch him grow as a performer, right? And the stuff is kind of hilarious. And it's even funnier because there's so many people who are not picking up on it at all. Okay. He's like acting extra brotherish, right? Like, he's like, oh, word. Yeah, right. Yeah, word. Yeah. What's good, everybody? And he's dressing in suits that are like expensive, but they look dorky as fuck. Like, he looked like an old timey guy who was going to fucking drive a boat this week.
Right.
Like in Dixie. And next to the Hurt Syndicate dudes, he doesn't look cool at all. You know what I mean? And all of this he thinks is helping him blend in, and he's kissing everybody's ass because now it's very clear he wants to be in the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah. So Tony Schiavone brings him out for an interview. He comes out in his dorky boat driver suit, and before he really says anything, we hurt people. The Hurt Syndicate is on fucking fire right now, Joshi.
I know.
It's unbelievable to see. People were chanting literally, Bobby. And then when that refrain comes on and they say, we hurt people, the crowd is chanting, we hurt people with it. This is the run these guys deserve, and they are crushing it. They are maybe the hottest thing in AEW still. I thought that might die down a little bit, but no, I don't think so.
They're too cool, and actually,
they're cool as fuck. Bobby Lashley is cool as fuck.
He is. On last week's Dynamite, they weren't there, and I was so upset. Well, I think Bobby wasn't there.
You felt their absence, though.
You felt, yeah. I believe MVP might have been there. I can't remember exactly. I know Bobby definitely wasn't there. Right. And was MVP there, I believe? I feel like they weren't there.
I don't remember right offhand.
Yeah.
I don't think Shelton wrestled on Dynamite.
I don't think so. But right. He wrestled on
Collision.
Collision, if I'm not mistaken.
And then he wrestled on Dynamite this week. Yeah.
Yeah, but I felt it last week. Like, they need to be on TV all the time. They're just so hot right now. They're
super good. They come and they kind of like stand around Ricochet, and Ricochet, like I said, he's like, what's good, fam? Like that kind of thing. And he's like, you saw, what I did to Commander last week in the G1. And MVP's like, yeah, we saw that. And Ricochet is so clearly trying to get their approval, right?
Yeah.
And finally, MVP's like, hey, you got that business card I gave you? And Ricochet's like, yeah. And he pulls it out, and MVP takes it out of his hand, tears it up. And then Bobby Lashley grabs Ricochet by the throat. Terrifying. Just to watch this guy move suddenly, a man that large is scary, okay? Even as a viewer of television. He is a fucking animal. He is, so quick. And he grabs
even in the nice suit, he's scary.
I know. He grabs Ricochet by the neck. Ricochet is looking like, oh, shit. And MVP says no one likes a kiss ass. They basically send Ricochet to the back. That's it for Ricochet. A lot of people online freaked out, including somebody who is normally pretty smart about these things, Dave Meltzer. They said that AEW buried Ricochet on TV. I thought that was fucking ridiculous. Okay. Now, if Ricochet never appeared on television again, or he like just was this like smarmy little shit, didn't get into the Hurt Syndicate and lost all the time, that would be burying him. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
That is not where this is going. And I can give you the proof, people. He gets interviewed later backstage. Okay. He's talking with Renee. Basically, he's talking and she asks him right away about the what had just happened with the Hurt Syndicate. And he's like, you know what? We'll talk about that later. And even as he was walking away from him, he's like, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll talk to you guys later. Like he's acting like it's no problem. Right.
Yeah.
And then who should interrupt him?
Whose house?
That's right. The crowd was so loud once Swerve was on the screen that you almost couldn't hear Swerve. This crowd, DC was so on point this whole show. But they're chanting whose house, Swerve's house. They're just cheering like crazy. And, you know, Swerve says, we've known each other 15 years and you haven't changed at all. They may call you Ricochet, but to me, you're just Trevor. The same old Trevor. Kind of implying that this guy's a sneaky weasel, right? And Ricochet totally plays it up. And that's what I'm about saying here. Ricochet is turning heel. He's taking a bold step. He's acting like a coward. And I think it's a surprise to a lot of people. To me, Ricochet is showing range. Chicken shit heels are the backbone of pro wrestling, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And people like Dave Meltzer clearly don't see this, right? They didn't see it last week. And he gives this promo about Swerve and he kind of like makes fun of Swerve a little bit. And then he does that same thing that we talked about last week where he's like, ha, you know, or like, ha. And it's like he's trying so hard to be cool and he sucks. And he just sucks. He's such a nerdy fucking dork, you know? And he's doing this on purpose, you guys. But you know who else had a little problem with Swerve just a little while ago and got stomped out like a little bitch? Max Caster. What did Max Caster have, Joshi? He had a card from MVP.
He had a card, yeah, and he's definitely turning heel and joining Hurt Syndicate.
That's how you know
happen.
Both these dudes are joining Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, the same thing's going to happen with Ricochet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's being buried. I don't think he's being disrespected. I think that, you know, they really want to put him with Hurt Syndicate, as they should, because when it comes to cutting promos, Ricochet has never been one of the best. And so I think MVP talking for him, like he does for Lashley and Shelton, is going to help him a lot.
That will make him a stronger guy, but I will say I give Ricochet a lot of credit for how he's pulling this off. To me, what he's doing seems so obvious and clear, and he's doing a great job of it. Like it's the most personality I've ever seen from Ricochet, and I'm really enjoying it. He's actually been kind of slowly alluding to a heel turn for months. And
it's been a while.
It's just picking up on TV in a different way now where it's more obvious. But I think even before, you know, all the way up around that triple threat match that I saw live with Kazuchika Okada or Konosuke Takeshita and Will Ospreay, Ricochet was starting to show little signs of being heelish. So what's he going to do now? He's going to hurt somebody. Okay. Because that's what MVP told him to do. What does Max Caster need to do after getting stomped out by Swerve? He needs to hurt somebody. They need to hurt Swerve.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
I think they're gonna.
Don't know what to expect on Collision. It's Ricochet Ospreay, so
yeah.
We'll see. I really don't know.
We're getting that match on Collision. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, Joshi, there's some odds and ends that I think we should probably talk about, just because I would feel wrong if we didn't mention them. One, Jamie Hayter and Willow had an absolutely dope match on Collision. Hard-hitting battle. Loved every second of it. It was to get into the New Japan tournament at Wrestle Dynasty, and Willow won clean, but this was a fantastic, hard-hitting match. What do you think, Joshi?
I thought it was an excellent match. I was actually very surprised that Jamie lost clean. I don't know. That bugged me just a little bit, but then we got the return of Julia Hart, so that was great. But it's all right. I mean, Jamie's in a feud right now, so
Willow's been on fire this year. You know, she lost to Chris once, and she lost to Mercedes once, but she pretty much wins everything else. I don't think there's any. I don't think it made Jamie look bad to lose this.
No, it didn't make her look bad.
Kenny Omega had a return promo finally on Dynamite, answering the prayers of so many people, including both of us. I saw a Fightful report that said the rumors are he might show up at World's End.
I hope so.
It won't be a match. His first match back will be in New Japan. And apparently that was done with the blessing of Tony Khan as a goodwill gesture to New Japan. So some of these fucking hardcore New Japan marks can maybe chill out a little bit. Okay. AEW's not screwing New Japan. All right. Yeah. They're like literally giving them Kenny Omega's return match. And I think it's right that Kenny shows up first in AEW and then goes and does his return match in New Japan. It's going to be great. And the Young Bucks showed up at the New Japan show in Long Beach that Mercedes headlined. And they want to challenge for the IWGP tag titles at Wrestle Dynasty. My God, this show gets more loaded by the day. Yes. Unbelievable.
Oh, and they announced Mina versus Mercedes at Wrestle Dynasty.
Yes, the greatest dance scene in the history of wrestling happened. After that incredible Hazuki match, Mercedes said, hey, I want to be at Wrestle Dynasty. Who's going to challenge me? And Mina Shirakawa came out. They then proceeded to have the sexiest moment in pro wrestling history ever by dancing together, doing the CEO dance. I will say Mina did outdance Mercedes in that moment, but those are two gorgeous, beautiful, incredible athletes.
Wait, okay. She might have outdone Mercedes, but she wasn't dancing the way she was supposed to, though.
No. She wasn't doing the CEO dance.
She completely did her own thing. She did do a good job, but she failed at the CEO dance. So I will give Mercedes the points.
Who wants to see Mina do the CEO dance? Anyway?
No, I know. I'm just saying. Anyways, when you guys have to vote for best dancer, make sure you watch them dance a few times before you make such a difficult decision.
It is a difficult decision. The Grappies are going to be tough this year. But the Bucks are going to be, and there was a little bit of a tease that maybe there's a little bit of dissension between the Bucks and Jack Perry. Yeah, they seemed a little out of sync with each other. So that'll be interesting. I do not want the Young Bucks to turn babyface under any circumstances. No, they have to pay some prices because them and the Death Riders clearly have something going on together that the Young Bucks are hiding from now. And the Young Bucks need to get their just due also for what they did to Kenny. So we'll see where that goes. But the Young Bucks are going to be at Wrestle Dynasty. And yet again, we got another great Bandito vignette. He's being shown on Dynamite every week. That's so dope. I'm just loving it. He feels like he's going to be a real big deal when he comes back. That's what I want. I want Bandito to be treated like a star because this guy literally could be a world champion if you do it right. I feel the same way about Bandito that I feel about like Takeshita. Like he's got that level of potential and that level of charisma. So to wrap up the episode, Joshi, let's just quickly run through the lineups for Christmas Collision, Miracle on 31st Street Dynamite, and then World's End, okay?
Sure.
All right. So for tomorrow, today, if you're listening to it on Saturday, and you may be listening to this long after, whatever. MJF and Adam Cole are going to have a face-to-face. Daniel Garcia is fighting Shelton Benjamin. That's going to be a great match. Will Ospreay against Ricochet. Unbelievable match.
Can't wait.
Darby Allin versus Claudio Castagnoli.
Should be great as well. Yeah.
I think Darby takes his win back there. Mark Briscoe versus Beast Mordos. That's going to be a fun-ass match, and maybe that's where Mordos gets his win.
Yeah, come on. Give him a win.
Those are the matches that are announced. They're going to add more, I think, on Rampage tonight. There's no women's matches announced yet. They're obviously going to have women's matches, so we'll see where that goes. But that's going to be at the Hammerstein Ballroom tomorrow or Saturday, Christmas Collision. And then Miracle on 31st Street Dynamite, Shelton Benjamin versus Kazuchika Okada. What?
That will be really good.
Commander versus Claudio. Claudio does so well in matches with luchadors. Mm-hmm. Will Ospreay versus Brody King. What the fuck? Ricochet versus Darby Allin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Daniel Garcia versus Kyle Fletcher.
Oh, yeah.
That's loaded. That is loaded. Again, no women's matches announced yet. You know it's going to happen. So more to come there. And then the World's End lineup so far is a fatal four-way match. Mox versus Hangman versus Orange Cassidy versus Jay White. The women's world title match is Mariah May versus Thunder Rosa in a Tijuana street fight. MJF versus Adam Cole. And Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Hobbs for the international title. And we will get the conclusion of the C2 tournament. There will be 3 matches that involve that. So the winner of the Gold League and the winner of the Blue League will face the runners-up of those leagues. And then the winners of those matches will face each other in the final. So things are shaping up. It's a very exciting time. I thought this was a real fun episode. Joshi, are you excited about the goddamn grabbies?
Of course I am, man.
Well, then fucking act like it, would ya?
I just want the people that I vote for to win. Damn it. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I don't
of course.
know. I'm really excited, though. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you weren't taking any shit about Mercedes there. Not even as a joke. You were like, she's a great dancer. Shut up.
No. But no, of course. Mina's an excellent dancer. I just found it funny that she kind of started with the CEO dance and then
she just went into business for herself. Yeah.
Did something completely different. But no, they are both good dancers. I'm just being the Mercedes Mark that I am. I'm super excited to see the results. Especially when it comes to the hair. I want to see, is it going to be chest hair? Is it going to be hair on the head? Is it going to be facial hair? We'll see. So, lots of exciting stuff coming.
We'll have to see. There's a lot of stuff. That's just 3 categories. We haven't even decided how many total there are going to be. We will this week, and we will announce the rest of the categories. Maybe we'll let the social media pick 1 category or 2 categories.
Yeah, that would be fun, yeah.
And then we'll vote, and then after the new year, we're going to have a very special first ever Grappies episode of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. Maybe some celebrity presenters, too, from the IWC that we're pals with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But until then, I hope you guys have a great holiday this next week. Until we're back, we'll be back next week. Until then, I'm Blade Daily.
I'm Joshi G. Happy holidays, everybody.
Pro wrestling forever. Get the hell out of here, Jack Pan!